Welcome back. Well, at this moment, we're joined by the Minister of ICT, that is Madam Emma Theofelus. We engaged her briefly this morning in terms of what will be transpiring during her visit here. She's here with a delegation attending ANGOTIC, and this is not, of course, her first rodeo. She did explain to us that there'll be some agreements that will be entered into with the Angolan ministry as well. And at this juncture, we unpack what has transpired since we last spoke to her this morning. Madam Theophilus, good evening. Thank you so much for your time once again.
Good evening. Thank you again for having me.
We saw at the opening ceremony this morning, which was absolutely beautiful, as it was also last year. At the end, towards the end of that ceremony, there was a signing that took place between yourself and the Minister of ICT, Angola, Mr. Mario Oliveira. Just unpack for us what that moment was and what was actually entered into between the two countries.
Well, yes, Nina, this signing of an MOU between the governments of the Republic of Namibia and Angola, particularly on matters related to ICT, has been about 18 months of negotiation, 18 months of discussion, particularly because we don't want the MOUs only to stop there. So this morning, when we finally had a situation where, after the opening ceremony, myself and Minister Oliveira would ensure that we sign the MOU between our two countries, was to start that long journey of real cooperation. And in that MOU, we're talking about digitalization, best practices sharing, knowledge exchange. We are talking about satellite technology. As you know, Angola has ANGOSAT 2, and they have quickly pivoted from the C band to KU band to look at issues around security, monitoring of our oceans.
Yeah.
And they have an ocean as well, and this is where it comes in very critical for us, because we have discovered oil. They've had oil for a long time, so the ability to monitor if there are any oil spills in the future. So this is really the foundation of many things that we can build from this MOU. I believe from the many discussions we've had with Minister Oliveira is that we are not interested in trying to always look further for solutions. We, as neighbors, we can combine our expertise, combine our resources, and find opportunities to collaborate and make the best of what we have, as opposed to looking very far away for those solutions. So this is really the foundation we have set this morning with the signing of that MOU, and we look forward to more cooperation in the future.
Well, Namibia and Angola have a long-standing history, and we all know that. But why is this particular agreement in the area of ICT so important right now? Why was this not something we'd agreed upon 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
Well, I think maybe everything just has its time, and sometimes the chickens come home to roost. And I think for us, perhaps the time such as now was supposed to be as it is. Particularly like this, from the day has not ended for us. After this, we are going to another agreement signing, and this is actually a commercial agreement between Angola Telecom and Telecom Namibia. If the viewers have been following, Minister Oliveira was in Namibia in April, May, and this was really around first signing the first part of the agreement between Angola Telecom and Telecom Namibia to come up with a commercial contract between the two public enterprises to ensure that we have a reroute of connectivity. As you know, Namibia has the WAX cable, the West African Cable System, and we have also landed the Equiano cable. Angola has SARSI, and unfortunately, if one of our cables was to have a disruption, which happens more often than not,
Yeah.
we don't want a situation where it will take days or weeks for us to come back online as a country. The same for Angola. So we are now building a redundancy line through Santa Clara or Chicago to connect our two countries, so that if a cable disruption happens on our end, we can get traffic still through Angola, and vice versa. If something happens on the Angolan side, they can depend on their sisterly country of Namibia for traffic and to have their systems still running. So that's only one practical example.
Yeah.
There are multiple I can cite in terms of why that has become critical now. Maybe because also in the times we are in now, many of our systems depend on technology.
Yeah.
This is why, as a Ministry of ICT, we drafted one, a telecommunications strategy. Secondly, a telecommunications plan in case of natural disasters. And thirdly, a critical information infrastructure policy to protect our critical infrastructure. And it goes beyond your satellites, your network towers, your fiber optics. I'm talking about your energy. I'm talking about your hospital infrastructure. All of that is important. Your water infrastructure. If something happens and NAM power goes down completely,
Yeah.
it means the country is operating blind. For any responsible government, that's a serious security risk. But that rises and falls on technology, and this is what we are trying to protect in one way or another through this agreement signing.
Beautifully explained. Thank you so much. You also met with some South African counterparts today. Talk to us about what that discussion really, was about and around, and are there any future agreements or current agreements that perhaps would be entered into with South Africa as well?
Absolutely. I had a bilateral meeting with the Deputy Minister of Digitalization from South Africa. We had a very cordial discussion about our last agreement that we signed in 2017. We agreed that perhaps now is the time to review that agreement, look at what we've been able to implement, and possibly look at a new agreement. We have cordial relationships with the people of South Africa, and technology, I think, is another area we can collaborate on. They have, of course, a different context in terms of population size, geographical size, but many instances, a lot of what we consume as Namibians is a lot what, in terms of culture, similarities they consume in South Africa. So I think there is an ability for us to find synergies in the way we move in cybersecurity, the way we move in digital infrastructure moving forward, our border that we share, and to strengthen collaboration around technologies in securing our borders and beyond. So we are really looking at reviewing that 2017 agreement, and hopefully in the near future coming up with something that speaks to emerging technologies and the future of technologies. Because believe me not, Nina, what we signed in 2017 most likely is already outdated
Yeah,
in 2026.
yeah.
It's been 9 years.
Yeah.
Technology has moved so quickly. If you think about AI, for example, AI only became a real thing in 2022 when OpenAI and ChatGPT were launched.
Yeah.
Now we cannot really surf the net, try to find any information without the help of AI. So just think about that 2022 was only a short 4 years ago. So 9 years is a very long time in the way technology evolves. So we're really looking forward to exploring that conversation with our South African counterparts to see what practically we can use to exchange between our two countries. And sometimes we recognize, as a small country like Namibia, there is strength in numbers,
Yeah.
and that we can leverage our neighbors to have a bargaining and act as a bargaining unit together in many negotiations that we find ourselves as developing countries where we are unable to always win when it comes to those negotiations. But if we can come together as SADC, all the countries working in unison, and this is now, we're in Angola today, perhaps the South Africans can help us in future, that we can have that strength in numbers to build a business case for more emerging technologies and solutions to come from our countries, as opposed to importing those solutions from elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, we hope to catch up with you, of course, as the day continues. We know tomorrow is day 2 of ANGOTIC, but just very briefly, Madam Theofelus, yes, you've met with Angola, you've met with South African counterparts, but there are many other countries also represented and participating in ANGOTIC, and not just within the region, but outside our borders as well. If you were to benchmark Namibia, against what you've seen, what you've engaged with, how far, have we come, and how far do we still have to go in terms of our own road to digital transformation?
I'll be honest with you, Nina. I think we have a long way to go, but what I've been able to see is that Namibia is doing quite well.
Yeah.
This broadcast, for example, and having the infrastructure back home to support a broadcast thousands of kilometers away in a foreign country is just one example. But beyond that, when we look at the population size that we have and the headway we have made from 2G, 3G, 4G, and now implementing 5G, we have done well. Of course, technology is a journey, or digital transformation is a journey that sometimes does not feel like it's ever ending, because as you're only mastering one thing, the technology
happens, yes.
evolves and changes itself, and demands more of governments and ministries and policymakers and government leaders. But we are ready to live up to the task.
Thank you.
We know Rome was not built in one day, but we are confident that if Namibians have the basic services to connect and truly connect, and we see this as a fact, that many Namibians, maybe not all, but many Namibians cannot say that they are shut out of financial infrastructure because there's a lack of connectivity, or they are shut out from being able to connect with family and friends wherever they find themselves, or they are shut out from actually getting government services through online means because there is no connectivity. Yes, there are gaps. We are dedicated to filling those gaps, but we are confident that where we are now is only a good foundation to build on to ensure that we have the internet penetration numbers we wish to have as a country.
Madam Theofelus, it's always a pleasure engaging you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, there you have it. Those are the conversations that we're having here at ANGOTIC 2026. The theme is the road to digital transformation. That's all from us here for this evening on the Daily Roundup from Luanda. I hope we've got some time to show you the sights and sounds that we've put together for you. From myself and the team, is good night, and thank you for watching.